Hey guys, this is Jam of JamOnline.ph, and today we're gonna compare these two smartphones, the OPPO Find N3 and the Galaxy Z Fold5. So both of these smartphones are new in the market. Well, this one is out for a quite while now, but this one are the two interesting foldable smartphones that are in the market. Unfortunately, for the Philippines, we won't be getting the Find N3. But yeah, both are powerful smartphones, both are foldable smartphones, and let's do a quick comparison for this one. So as you can see in here, we got here almost the same height for the Z Fold 5 and also the OPPO Find N3. But what we can notice on this one is that the OPPO is actually thinner except for the camera module, because the camera module of this one is kind of thick, but holding this one, since it's thinner, is a lot better. And I actually prefer the aspect ratio personally of the OPPO Find N3 compared to the Galaxy Z Fold 5, which is thinner. It's known to be, it's actually narrower on most fold smartphones, unlike the OPPO one. The Find N2 actually has almost a same size as a Passport, but this one is, this time it's actually taller this time, and the aspect ratio is more usable for most applications and even some games. So opening this one, again, we have here a different aspect ratio. So as you can see in here, the OPPO Find N3 is actually wider, but almost the same height. But again, if you want to use productivity, if you want to use applications on the smartphone, this one is wider, this one is a little bit taller, but yeah, this one is narrower as well. For the back, you can see in here, we got here the matte looking glass style at the back, while this one is a faux leather back. And again, the hinge, they're actually different when it comes to the hinge. Samsung now features a zero gap hinge, and they told us that the hinge is actually different compared to the previous generations. This one is also a different feel. So actually, one of the big difference for me is that when I use it in an angle like this, around 120 degrees, it actually just falls off flat. However, this one, the Galaxy Z Fold 5, is actually more flexible, whatever angle that you are using on the smartphone. Both are actually premium. So the feel and also the materials that are being used on the smartphone are really premium. So I really don't have a problem on that one. So of course, we got here both the power button over here, the volume rocker, but the OnePlus and rather the OPPO N3 rather has this one. It's an alert slider. It's the signature design or feature that we have also on OnePlus. And of course, at the top, you can see in here the grills, the microphone, and everything. Below, we got here the two USB-C ports. But unfortunately, Samsung only supports up to 45 watts, I believe, for the Galaxy Z Fold 5, but definitely not more than 45 watts. It's either 25 or 45, while the Find N3 supports up to 80 watts of fast charging, which is really fast. So charging the smartphone will just take you less than an hour to fully charge it, unlike the Galaxy Z Fold 5. So that's a big win for the OPPO Find N3 compared to the Galaxy Z Fold 5. Now, as for the battery, this one has a 4800 milliamp of battery, while this one has a 44 milliamp of battery. Now, I wasn't able to run benchmarks on the OPPO Find N3 when it comes to the battery because of the limited time that I have to check out this one. But what we're getting in here is almost the same battery I've been getting a whole day of usage. But charging this one, again, is a way faster on the OPPO Find N3. Now, as for the performance, they're actually using both the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, but Samsung actually has a faster clock speeds because this one runs on Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, which is way faster when it comes to the clocks. So when it comes to gaming, of course, you could run all of the games that you want, whether that's Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, Call of Duty Mobile, or even Mobile Legends without any problems. Again, it's a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. But when it comes to benchmarks, you can clearly see that there's a little bit of an advantage to the Galaxy smartphones compared to the OPPO Find N3, because the Galaxy, again, has a faster clock speed, which is, again, exclusive to Galaxy smartphones. Now, when it comes to software, actually, both of them are perfect for productivity. So as you can see on this one, so we can actually open gallery. Let's open gallery. And we can clearly see that the smartphone this actually have this taskbar below. Both of them are really useful, especially when you are multitasking on the smartphone. So whether you're running Google Docs or even just checking out gallery or some applications, this is actually really useful, as you can just drag and drop those applications to the foldable display and you could do multitasking. Now, let's check both of these smartphones and how they perform when it comes to that. So we're opening gallery right now on the we actually open gallery right now. So let's drag and drop these phone applications on both smartphones. And as you can see, we can actually do multitasking that is really fast on the smartphone, but they have a different approach when you're opening more than 2 applications. Now, if you want to open the third window on the smartphone, you can actually open a floating window on both smartphones, so like this. So let's add, let's say this one, the messages app. So release to enable a floating window. So we got here floating window. It's adjustable on the Find N3. You can actually even do that on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold5. There we go. It's also adjustable if you want. So that's a floating window if you want. But if you want to add another window on Samsung, you can actually do this. You got another window, 3 windows at the same time with a floating window. Unfortunately for OPPO, you can't actually do that. But they also have here the split view, so you can run 3 applications at the same time in vertical mode. So this one is actually more useful. So if you're opening 3 applications at the same time, just tap over at the other side of the application, and you can actually see the application that is running. But it's not the same one on the Galaxy Z Fold5. So they have a different approach. It depends on what you want. But for me, I actually prefer this one on the Find N3. But if you want more windows that are open at the same time, actually just close the floating window. If you want to open 3 apps at the same time, you can clearly see that, okay, the Z Fold5 does have more windows at the same time. You don't need to touch anything. You could see all of these in just a single display compared to the Find N3 that has this one. Because I'm into productivity, that's why I prefer having a larger size windows on the Find N3. But of course, again, it's subjective. It will depend on the users. It will depend on the consumers on how they will use the multi-window features on both smartphones. Both smartphones are also capable of playing games, again, that are really heavy, just like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. Both are from Hoyoverse, but both are really heavy games. And as you can see right now, we do have a different aspect ratio. When you're playing it in this mode, you can see that this one is a little bit taller and wider, but yeah, you can see the difference in the aspect ratio of the smartphone. And actually, personally, I would prefer this one. I have a larger, or taller rather, display for the display, and of course, the aspect ratio is just perfect for both of these games, unlike the Galaxy Z Fold5. But again, both can run those games at the same time, but I'm not sure if you guys are gonna do that, but it just shows you the power of both of these smartphones. Now, speaking of the foldable display, I almost forgot. Actually, one of the noticeable things on both smartphones is that the Find N3 does have a more unnoticeable crease. So you could actually barely see the crease on this one. You could actually barely feel the crease on the OPPO Find N3, while the Galaxy Z Fold5, you could actually feel the crease in the middle. But like what I've said in my previous reviews, the crease on foldable smartphones doesn't really affect me. In most use cases, the crease is just there, but once you use the smartphone, it's barely invisible once you're using it. Not really a big deal for me. Now let's talk about the camera of both of these smartphones. So the Galaxy Z Fold5 actually has a 50 megapixel plus 10 plus 12 camera setup with an under-display camera, 4 megapixel under-display camera over here, and of course a 10 megapixel selfie camera over here. While OPPO does have a different camera setup. So actually we got here the 48 plus 48 plus 64 megapixel camera setup over here, and it comes with the Hasselblad branding. And of course we got here the 20 megapixel and a 32 megapixel front facing camera. In most of our shots, you could clearly see that we got here really good photos on both smartphones, and it's actually a hit and miss on both. Sometimes the Galaxy Z Fold5 is better, sometimes the OPPO Find N3 is better, but what I've noticed is that the bokeh on the Find N3 is much more noticeable, maybe because of, I don't know, if it has a larger sensor. Again, I do not have the full specifications yet, but both of the cameras of the smartphone are really good. What I've noticed is that the Z Fold5 has a better processing. They're brighter in some cases, especially when I shot my dogs. Not really shot, just you know, just a camera. But yeah, both of the smartphones fare pretty well when it comes to the camera. Unfortunately, I was only able to use this one for 2 days. I'm gonna return it later today. But one of the big advantage of the OPPO Find N3 is that this one actually has a 120 times zoom. So if you're gonna use this one for concerts, this one is really usable compared to the Galaxy Z Fold5. But again, what I've noticed is that the Galaxy Z Fold5 has a better processing, and sometimes the color are just way better on the Z Fold5. So I guess that's it for our quick comparison of the Galaxy Z Fold5 and also the OPPO Find N3. Both are really cool foldable smartphones. Both are really powerful. I just wish that I have more time on both of these smartphones to compare it even more. But yeah, if you ask me which one is the better foldable smartphone among the two, well, I would prefer the OPPO Find N3 because this one has a better aspect ratio for productivity in my usage, and of course the camera is just good as well. But sometimes again, the Galaxy Z Fold5 wins when it comes to the camera, but overall the usage and everything, for me, I would go for the Find N3. Oh, and another advantage of the Galaxy Z Fold5 is this one comes with an 8K recording. The Find N3 doesn't have that. And so another feature that I forgot to mention is that the Z Fold5 actually has an 8K 30 frames per second video recording. The Find N3 only has a 4K recording, which isn't that bad. But yeah, 8K is 8K. It's a nice feature to have. And if you're already in the Samsung ecosystem, if you have already the Buds, the Galaxy Tab, and everything, I would suggest that you would go for the Galaxy Z Fold5 instead because of, you know, better syncing with those other Galaxy devices. But again, both of these devices are really, really good. So I guess that's it for comparison of these two smartphones. So yeah, I hope that you like my comparison. It's a quick comparison actually because I only have a limited time of usage for the Find N3. But if you like this video, of course, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and be sure to click that subscribe button along with that bell button to get notified of our latest videos here in my YouTube channel. So once again, I am Jam of JamOnline.ph. Thank you for watching, and see you guys again in our next video.